Gonna go for two here. He's going for two. Caught him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
Okay, number 15.
All right, welcome in. Finally, episode 11. We want to start off. We want to thank everybody for episode 10. It was our most watched one. Was it just over
2,000 people reached, couple over 1,000 a bit views, huge for us.
Yeah, it's very exciting. But for us, we're here. We appreciate everyone out there watching it. Also, anybody that was watching football this weekend, they know that I took another 2 games up on Chad, which means for the child can polar bear dip, Chad's ass is going in Lake Erie.
So you can say that now, but everybody saw Rocky. I'm coming back.
We picked together. We pick in the same house. I'm just gonna
mirror my picks.
Yeah, you're gonna lose by 4.
That's not like you at all.
Actually, that's not. I'm actually gonna make it so you lose by 1. So Kaylin's going in with you.
You would have been a hawk for sure in the Mighty Ducks. You ain't just winning lightly.
Yeah,
you're stomping on someone's throat.
Yeah, and there is no mercy rule in this.
It's not.
There is no mercy rule. If we get to a point where it's ridiculous, we decided that we're gonna shave Chad.
For the dip.
Yeah. That way, so when he's in his Speedo, he looks nice and clean. But, for transitioning out of that...
How do you transition from that?
I'll tell you. Because there's something more troubling than you in a Speedo to me.
Is it Dak's ankle?
It was Dak's ankle.
They don't do that. They're not supposed to do that.
You know what? When I first saw it, I thought his shoe came off. And I thought his shoe was hanging off. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. And then... they came back, and he was still laying there, and the cart was out. I was like, that's not his... They didn't bring out a cart to put his shoe back on. And what a terrible injury.
The craziest thing about the whole thing is, I don't know who the guy was on the other team, but he literally went, nope.
Yeah.
And then just started pointing to the sidelines, wouldn't even look at him.
Yeah.
He took one look at that ankle, was like, I can't do it. My stomach's not handling this today.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And then, Dak wouldn't even look at it, just, pointing at his ankle.
Ugh. It was nasty, but for a guy that's playing under the franchise tag, what does that... I mean, it really sheds a lot of light on what he wanted all offseason, which was long-term deal, because something like this could always happen. I mean, this is a freak accident. It's not like he played quarterback bad, so they broke his ankle. I'm
really hoping that he took Pat McAfee's advice. Take an insurance policy out on your body.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee is a punter. He did it.
Yeah,
on his legs. And his also wouldn't have been as high as what Dak's was, the insurance policy.
Yeah.
But, man, I really hope that he did it here because
the man was smiling in the hospital, so I feel like I mean, at the end of the day...
he's still made $38 million.
Yeah. Every single news outlet and sports channel, they wanted to talk about how this is, the saddest thing, and Dak Prescott, poor guy. Guy made $35 million this year, and he played in 4 games. So, let's put into perspective what we're feeling bad about somebody for. He's not gonna die. He got his ankle surgery. He walked into a hospital and boom, ankle surgery.
God bless America. That would happen here in Canada. No, you can go wait.
Now I was sitting here and I was watching the game with a buddy who was an Eagles fan, and I said to him, "Do you think that that's the last snap that Dak takes for the Cowboys?"
I really don't know. I hope it's not, for his sake. And for that offense they've built, I hope it's not. But as a business, if he's not ready to go next year, I think you have to look elsewhere. For the amount of money he's going to want, and that he rightfully earns.
Well, yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Deshaun got paid. Lamar's going to get paid.
Yep.
And we both agreed we put Dak above both of them.
Yeah.
So he's not going to make Mahomes money. But do you put him at the $40 million mark? But now does this set him back? Does it bring him back to that 35 mark, which he would want to sign at? Yeah,
and the Cowboys still have the option to just drop another tag on him. Mm-hmm. If they do that, I would imagine that he's walking at the end of the season. But we'll have to see how that plays out for them. There has never been a quarterback playing under the franchise tag that stayed with the team that franchise tagged him. No,
well, Kirk Cousins did it once.
No, well, to stay with them without the franchise.
Yeah, sorry.
The only 2 that come to mind are Drew Brees. That happened in when they were still San Diego, and then Kirk Cousins, like you brought up. But I mean, whether you call it a fantasy perspective or just an overall perspective of their offense, what does this do for Ezekiel Elliott?
Well, he only has to get fed. So
Yeah.
he does his whole feed me. Oh, you are going to get fed, boy.
Yeah.
Like, you are now the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, and Andy Dalton in there is a serviceable quarterback-ish. I mean, the guy's played in the he's played in the playoffs before. Never won, but I mean, it's not his fault. He played
There's
for
worse
Cincinnati.
backup quarterbacks out there than Andy Dalton.
Yeah, and there's definitely worse ones. But I heard today on, I don't know if it was the Clay Travis show or the McAfee show. They said that Andy Dalton is the best backup quarterback in the league. I don't know if that's true. I mean, off the top of my head, like Tyrod Taylor's technically a backup right now, and if he had 2 lungs, then like he would be a serviceable quarterback.
So
But
1.5.
yeah, but when it came down to it, like if Ryan Fitzpatrick got hurt, would you not be okay with Tua going in? I mean, I feel like he would automatically be a better.
I don't know. I think Jameis
Better
Winston's
option.
pretty good down there, and
Yeah.
New Orleans, like, there's some pretty good backup quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, and like coming from me, this is going to sound probably even more impactful, but like if I had the option to put Joe Flacco in or Andy Dalton, I'm pretty sure I'm putting Joe Flacco in. So
That's saying something.
yeah, yeah,
I
and,
know how you feel about Joe Flacco.
yeah. And for the Cowboys on the whole, let's just say they maybe win 4 more games, which is going to give them 6 wins, so they're 10-6. They don't win the division because for some reason the Eagles get hot or the Washington football team or whatever. Is Mike McCarthy safe?
I don't know. Kind of brings us back to that whole Zeke comment. Like, it all depends how he plays out this scenario. Because Andy Dalton, he won't lose you any football games.
Yeah.
But the problem is they can't stop anybody.
Well, I have seen him throw multiple pick sixes to Steelers. So,
okay.
but I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
They can't get in the shootouts like they were.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to Zeke and like nickel and diming the whole field, taking off as much time as possible. Guys like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, they might not like it.
Could they get Deion Sanders out of retirement to maybe play corner for them? Because they might need it.
He's probably better than what they got.
Well, I guarantee you they is.
So, like, to me, it's like, now does Mike use Zeke the right way? Like,
Yeah.
just sounds horrible, like 25, 30 touches a game. Like, it has to happen. It's the only way that you're going to stay in football games. And if they don't do that and they start trying to sling that ball around like they were doing,
Yeah.
Mike, I'm sorry, you're out.
They got a lot of tough games coming up, too. I mean, they got Arizona on Monday Night Football coming up. They also have games against the Ravens, the Steelers. I also think that Cincinnati, being an upstart team, they're probably going to take them to the wire. I think that, that division sucks. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter.
8 games should still get you a playoff spot.
Someone's going to win it because someone has to win it. But a division like that, do they deserve a playoff?
No.
Yeah.
No one does in that division.
Whatever.
It is like the true definition. Like, if the Cowboys win that division, it is actually the trash bag of the NFL. Like we've been saying this whole time.
Yeah.
It's like being the prize, like the prom queen in the trailer park.
Moving on to the Monday Night Football for a team that no longer has quarterback controversy, but they might have a coaching controversy. Justin Herbert looked awesome.
That guy can play football.
Yeah, and it's not very often that you see somebody that, I don't know. We both watched him play at Oregon and it was like,
We both were not on the Herbert train.
Yeah, I remember us both sitting watching a Saturday Night Football game. I don't know who they were playing. It could have been the Pac-12 championship game. And we're like, this guy's in the first round?
Yeah.
Ugh, yuck. This draft's going to suck.
He did nothing flashy.
Yeah.
He ran this spread offense and he wasn't fast.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he even enjoyed playing football.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's a Eugene guy. He's Oregon through and through. And I was like, he doesn't even look like he wants to be there.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
but
then now he's out in San Diego just slinging that ball wherever he wants,
he's dealing.
throwing it down the field, making Keenan Allen get revived.
Yeah.
Mike Williams looked like the first-round pick they took.
Yeah. And Keenan Allen went out of the game, and it didn't seem like it fazed him at all. He just found another guy. Guyton.
Yeah, whoever that is.
But a guy like Anthony Lynn, who I think is a pretty good coach, he's one of the few coaches that, let's say Mike Tomlin wasn't around anymore, that I would have no problem with the Steelers taking. Can a guy like that get a free pass on this year, knowing that there's some of these leads that they've blown. And Herbert played against Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and Drew Brees.
That's a rough way to start your game off.
But he also had more than 10-point leads in all of those games. And I know that you want to blame it on the defense, but their lack of a run game is that's the bigger problem to me. And will Anthony Lynn have a chance next year to go to the next level with Herbert?
I think with the level Herbert's playing at, if it doesn't drop off, I think you have to give Anthony Lynn that chance.
Yeah.
Because he made that call.
Right.
He could have went back to Tyrod.
Yep.
And he chose not to. He said, this is our guy. We drafted him for a reason. And they said like how hard of a choice it was to go against Tyrod because they promised him all this and that.
Yep.
But he put the team first, and Herbert, I think, is the guy to lead the team.
Yeah.
Yes, they can't stop anybody. That hurts. That being said, if you can't run the ball, ask a guy down in Atlanta that problem. What happens?
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. We're
I'm
not
getting
there yet.
excited.
We're not there yet.
I'm pulling the Kalen.
Yeah.
Jumping topics.
Stop being premature.
It happens, all right? It's a disability. But yeah, no, if you can't run the ball and kill the clock, you can't ask the young kid to put the team on his back every single week. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. And I think majority of their defensive players are going to be back in LA this year, with the exception of Derwin James. Like Melvin Ingram's going to be back. What's his name? James Jones is going to be like. They're going to be okay on defense. I think that their defense is pretty solid. The fact that they're blowing these leads, like I said, it's definitely run game related.
Losing Eckler hurts as well.
Yeah, and he'll be back. I think that they got a couple of decent pieces there. If I was the owner of the Chargers, I would let him stick around for another year and see. Let's see what you can get out of it. I mean, get a full off season.
I don't know if Mike McCarthy's out there though. Hey, maybe give him a call.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, proof's in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
A guy that stepped up big yesterday for the Saints was Emmanuel Sanders, and I've always been a big Emmanuel Sanders fan. He played on the Steelers, which means he was awesome, and they only know how to draft awesome receivers. I know we'll get to it. I know we're going to get to it. The guy had 10 catches yesterday. It seemed like the first couple weeks he was kind of disappeared. But will a guy like that continue to eat knowing that next game Michael Thomas is going to be back?
I think he does. Like, Mike's going to do what Mike Thomas does. He said you can't guard Mike as his handle on every social media. He's not wrong. You can't guard him.
Yeah, well.
That being said, when you put 2 or 3 on him, Emmanuel Sanders is a great number 2. He did it in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
He did it in Denver.
Yep.
I don't think he is a true number 1. I do believe that. In San Francisco, I think they asked a lot from him last year to be that guy. Then the emergence with Debo kind of actually helped him out again.
At one point the Steelers had Hines Ward, Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, and Emmanuel Sanders all on the same team.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And their 4th was a guy named Nate Washington who went on to be a star in Tennessee. Or their 5th star, yeah. Just ridiculous. Side note, I know. We're
getting premature again.
But
he had 14 targets, which is huge. So if anybody wants fantasy football, if he's there, get him. He should not be there, but go get him.
I'm a little bit worried about the Saints in general, and I'll tell you why. I think that they threw Taysom Hill into the game on the 10-yard line with a minute left, and Drew Brees is standing on the sideline, and Drew Brees is, he's a guy that knows how to smile for the camera because he's going to be on NBC. He's already signed his contract with NBC. Whether this is his last year, next year's his last year, it doesn't really matter. If that play doesn't go the right way, how can you just eat that?
So, I know I brought this up to you earlier, and I was like, you saw this, right? And you're like, yeah, I saw. I'm like, does it make sense to you? Only because on every short yardage play, they do the same thing. They bring him in, he runs some wild. I guess I can't call it a wildcat formation anymore because he actually is a quarterback, we'll say. Mm-hmm. He can't throw the ball worth shit. Yep. He's not going to be, and they're paying him a lot of money to do what he does. I know he's a utility player and he's a gadget, and it works. Well, sure, it works for them. But when the game is on the line, why are you taking the ball out of your Hall of Fame quarterback's hands?
Yeah.
In the first half alone, Taysom got stopped 3 times.
Yep.
And now the game's on the line on the 10 in the red zone. Yeah, it worked. But it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And that's a scary play. I know Sean Payne. I think there's Sean Payne's ego getting in the way.
Could be.
Taysom Hill's my gadget. He's my guy. I brought him in here. look at my new shiny toy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, yeah, okay, it worked once, man. Like,
they pay him a little bit too much money for my liking, and he's probably, I mean, he's definitely the most expensive backup quarterback besides Jacoby Brissett. But I'm not comfortable with them taking out Breeze for him. And
I hope Breeze says something. If I'm Drew Brees, like, first off, I put this city on my back.
Well, last time Drew Brees said something, he got in trouble. So
yeah.
that guy's he's never going to say anything to anybody. He'll probably say something really quietly to Sean Payton.
But yeah, like, I have the city on my back. This is my city.
Yeah.
He could literally be the governor of Louisiana when he's done playing.
Yeah.
He came in after Katrina and won a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And now you pull him out on a very good football team when you're about to win a game.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, the fact that the Dolphins passed on him, we'll get to the Dolphins in a second, here's another, and this is a crazy thing. Everyone is talking about how the biggest upset of the weekend was the Raiders over the Chiefs. I completely disagree, because the Dolphins shit stomped the 49ers in the 49ers building. And
that's putting it lightly. Like,
yeah.
We have 49ers fans. I know one of them for sure is my father, and he does not miss an episode. And I'm going to get a big F you after this episode.
Eli, I got a gift for you at the end of the episode. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to like it. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you play your cards right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, I understand they have a lot of injuries going through that whole organization right now. But you got shit kicked.
Yeah.
By a really bad Miami football team.
A team that's probably getting a little bit better, but yeah, bad. They're still the third or fourth place team in a bad division.
And you're supposed to be this defensive juggernaut. And I understand you live through the pass rush, which is all beat up right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, not acceptable. And your home stadium, you're lucky the fans weren't there. They would have left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 49ers aside, Miami had a great week. There was no way we were going to let the week go by without mentioning Miami on here, which I think that all media in general is kind of letting it slide because Patrick Mahomes lost, and like, how could Patrick Mahomes lose? But we'll move on to our next part. Next segment is brought to you by the Bug Guys of London. We're going to pick our offensive Pest and our defensive exterminator. So Chad, I'll let you lead off.
Well, this one's going to feel good for you. It's a little feel-good story. Nice Canadian kid, too. Also, product Notre Dame. I love that shit.
Yep.
Chase Claypool.
What a stud.
Like, I remember when they drafted him, you're like, Chad, tell me. I'm like, oh, you're happy. You're a happy man.
I wanted J.K. Dobbins, and I'm going to be honest about it. I didn't know a lot about Claypool, and you said, yeah, you're going to be happy, and then, you know.
Guy, he is balling out.
Yeah.
He's done it week in and week out, like in smaller ways. But he just said, I am more than welcomed to the NFL this weekend. And 4 touchdowns, 7 catches. I think he had double digits in targets, so Ben likes him.
Yeah. He had more targets in this game than he had in all the other games combined.
So, Juju, thanks, man. But I think happy for your service. Is that what's going to be now? Or
what I think is this could actually be a benefit to the Steelers, because now Juju's welcome to shop his offers, and I'm sure he will. But if coverages have to go to the 6'5", 240-pound monster.
I won't call him mega strong because that's just not fair yet.
Yeah.
He's built just like him.
Yeah. I mean, you could put James Washington or Deontay Johnson on the outside, and Juju's going to eat in the slot. And if they can get Juju back for, let's call it $12.5 million next year.
You're laughing.
Yeah. What? And he can continue to be his number 2, and that's quite okay.
Also, can we talk about how my favorite thing about Chase Claypool was? I know I sent it to you late today.
He's beauty.
On the McAfee show, he said the worst part about scoring 4 touchdowns is that during a pandemic he couldn't celebrate. He had to go out and just take his family for dinner, and all he wanted to do was get blackout. Like, that made me so happy, and I was like, man, you're so Canadian.
Mike Tomlin definitely threw him against the locker at practice today.
100% he got murdered today.
He's like, come on, buddy. You can't say shit like that. But, hey, I appreciate it. I respect it. Exterminator. Now, I was 100% dialed into the Exterminator on 1 o'clock on Sunday. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to give honorable mention to somebody on Sunday night. J.K. What's his name? J.K. Wright?
No.
You know what I'm talking about. Buddy from Seattle.
Oh, yeah, the linebacker?
KJ Wright. Yeah, not
you know I don't do names.
Yeah.
You should know this. I say them all wrong anyway.
So He basically did nothing in the game except for pick up a fumble and get the dirtiest one-handed interception of all time. But I'm going to give the exterminator to Patrick Queen, who plays for Baltimore, which makes me want to vomit in my mouth. But the guy had 2 forced fumbles, and he had picked up a fumble for a touchdown, and he had 10 tackles. The guy was all over the place. This is a rookie playing. I get they played Cincinnati, but if it wasn't for him, the game maybe was a little bit closer.
That guy could fly.
It's unreal. Unreal.
Just another product of LSU, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
Devin White, same thing. Same kind of style of game.
yeah.
That's 2 years in a row. They're sending studs to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go to guys that could fly and a guy that's flown around the United States on our
show.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence. We've picked different spots for him. He's been all over the map. Now, I'm going to do something, and people are going to be like, oh, I cannot believe this, but Trevor Lawrence is landing on the West Coast in Santa Clara for the 49ers next year. Sorry, Eli.
Do you think Trevor Lawrence knows how much love he gets on this show?
I hope so. I mean, we tag him all the time, so I mean...
Like, something's got to give.
Yeah, at some point he's going to come on.
Like, we'll give him a free shirt.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, if you need a free shirt, we got you.
Yeah, we'll get that thing over the border. Don't worry, man.
So San Francisco, eh? You think they're just going to give up on Jimmy like that?
I think based on the way that Garoppolo's contract works, they owe him nothing next year unless he gets hurt this year. Now, if they can protect him this year by, just randomly throwing in Nick Mullins at halftime, could I see the 49ers going 4-12? Unfortunately, I could. They have a really tough schedule. They have a really, really tough division. And the coach is safe. The GM is safe. Their entire defense is banged up. Their team is in trouble. But could you imagine putting Trevor Lawrence there?
The young talent they have on offense, too.
It's almost unfair.
It's almost the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know what? Oh, this isn't going our way. Nick Mullins, you're our guy. Also, every defensive star. No, you're not playing this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see it. Unfortunately for me, I just don't know if they're going to get that pick.
Yeah. Well,
And we both agreed the Jets are the first pick, and we both said if that's the first pick, you go back to college.
100%.
Or you just pulling Eli Manning and John Elway. Nope, not doing it.
Yeah. But where else could he go? I mean, there's definitely, we're at a point where teams are starting to separate themselves.
So we kind of talked about, you brought up the 49ers, you'll tank for Trevor.
Yeah, why not?
Tank for Trev.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it a trend.
Why not?
Throw some hashtags on that.
Yeah. Liam, hashtag that.
Yeah. Tank for Trev. Write that down.
Tank for Trev.
The team that I think might tank for him, and if I was him, I'd be all about it, is the Minnesota Vikings.
It's too cold there.
You put a dome.
It's too cold. You know how cold it is in Minnesota in December and January?
Yeah. I know it won't work for his flowing locks,
Yeah, man.
but you got Dalvin Cook.
Guy's got a big nose. That, when your nose gets cold,
frostbite?
he's got a lot of nose, man.
So I think
That's unfair.
And with Kirk Cousins' contract, he's only got 1 year left. I think that it's easier. I know it's all guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Cheers to his agent.
Yeah.
But if he's sitting there and you're sitting at 4 or 5, what do you give up?
We got breaking news that just came across. We're watching the Tennessee and Buffalo game, and Le'Veon Bell was just released by the Jets.
All right, so they're tanking too. So we're still not going there.
So maybe that plane is on its way back to New York.
But I'm saying the Vikings, given the fact that they're 1-4 right now. Kirk Cousins isn't just getting it done. Look at the weapons on offense that you have, and you put a kid like Trevor Lawrence in there. Man, I would be all about that. The defense isn't that bad. Mm-hmm. So that's my miracle pick, I guess. If you have that bad way, and if you're sitting at 4, 5, 6, I'm trading up.
Well, here's another scenario, and I'll give you this scenario because I'm not saying that I'm completely off the Jimmy G bandwagon. He's a little too pretty for me to give up on him. Looks very nice in his press conferences after. But if you're the 49ers and you don't get the first pick, and let's just say you have the 7th pick, and you could probably get somebody on the offensive line. Now, do you take your 2nd or your 3rd round pick, package that to Detroit, and try and get
With Jimmy?
try and get Stafford from Detroit? Because I think a guy like Stafford could succeed in the 49ers system and let Detroit take Trevor Lawrence.
That is my other pick. The Lions were one other pick.
Yeah,
Just for the fact that I think it sounds horrible, but like Detroit, like that's where football players go to die.
They get a quarterback that's not Matt Stafford, and I love Matt Stafford. He just seems like they've never utilized him properly. You have a chance to have DeAndre Swift, Trevor Lawrence, and Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, you'd be okay.
You're comfortable with those triplets.
Yeah. Once again, I feel like Detroit's been rebuilding their whole year, their whole existence. I should say, not year, their whole existence. And I think for them, like if you're picking 4 or 5, like ship them out. Like, I'm not saying like ship out to New York because no one deserves to go to New York. That's worse than going to Detroit right now.
Well, hey, I mean, obviously they've given up on Bell now, and essentially they're kind of giving up on this. Like Bell is probably gonna land on the Patriots. So
yeah,
I mean,
come on.
Anytime someone gets released that has any kind of like ability left in them, the Patriots are just.
Well, he's not going to Tampa. We have too many guys
catch.
back there right now. So
yeah, you can't have 15 running backs. But let's move on to the main event. We'll move on to the main event because this one we saw coming. I'll be honest, you were way closer than I was. However, you still lost.
Fucking Price is Right rules. I even set them.
Yeah, and we talked about the rules, and
you can't go over.
Yeah,
try again.
So you were over.
I was over.
Dan Quinn is gone. He's fired.
1 week I was out by. 1 week.
See ya later.
If there wasn't a postponement on this game tonight, I could have won that bet.
Yeah, and for that, we are going to use a donation that was given to us by
a Falcons fan.
A Falcons fan. Nick Newman donated a sweater and a hat, and we are going to give that away. Chad, give him the details.
So what we need from you guys is this Sunday, we're asking you guys, tag us on a post of how you're spending your Sunday watching the game, and then just like and share us, man. That's all we're asking.
Yeah.
Like a post, share it with a friend, tag somebody you're watching the game with. We want to see how you're watching the game on Sunday.
There's no Thursday game this week, so you got to get it in. And we'll even say if you're watching the game on Monday, because maybe you're a Chiefs fan or a Bills fan.
Take that one too. Why not? We'll
fire
go all
away.
week.
We'll let it go. We're going to pick our winner on the next episode.
So next Wednesday.
But
yeah, we want to see how you watch the game. We've shown us how we do it sometimes. These double Monday nighters are great, by the way.
Yeah, I love it. And like even tonight, like it's Tuesday night, we're watching football, we're taping this. Unfortunately, we have a Bills fan on the couch who we're not going to show him on camera right now because we're not going to do him like that.
But he's been very quiet.
Yeah.
He's very respectful.
No,
he's a respectful guest in your home.
Great guy.
But back to Dan Quinn.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, of course.
All right, hey, cool prizes, free sweaters and hats. But Dan Quinn, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
You've blown a lot of leads. It's that simple. And there's way too much talent there.
Yeah. So I was listening to the Clay Travis show this morning because I listen to it, almost every morning. Between Clay Travis and Pat McAfee, those are the two guys I'll listen to the most. And he was talking about a Super Bowl that he was at in Atlanta. And his Uber driver, he said it was a 70-year-old man. And this guy explained to him that he was retiring from sports fandom because he had already worked his whole life and it was grueling enough. And he's not going to live his retired life as an Atlanta Falcons fan.
That's phenomenal.
That's like, man, how is this not like a best-selling book right now?
You can't even make that up.
Yeah.
Like, it sucked being a Buccaneers fan growing up.
But
we had a good 5-year run, thankfully. Like, Atlanta's been up and down. There's been a lot more downs.
Yeah, at least, as a Bucs fan, the best thing that you can hope for is that Notre Dame's good.
Yeah. And I know what I'm seeing. There's no false hope until this year. I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm so mad. But
I'm not sure, and we'll dig more into it next week. But I'm not sure how they're gonna handle the Packers.
We're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah. So that might get weird. But if you're the Falcons, GM's gone, coach is gone. You're Arthur Blank. You're looking at it. Is Matt Ryan your quarterback next year?
I don't know. I hope it is. I hope they keep Julio. I hope they keep Matt Ryan. They need to keep those two guys. I think give them a chance with it. if you're basing your whole franchise on offense, bring an offensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
You brought in a defensive-minded coach with
And
all these studs.
they replaced him with a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
Hakeem.
But no, I hope they keep him there. I think Matty Ice deserves that. Julio deserves that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is it just worth it at this point to just trade them all away and get draft picks and start fresh with a new coach? And that's what it comes down to. Like, Arthur Blank, like, you're getting older, man.
If you could trade away Julio at the trade deadline this year, would you do it? If you can get, like, let's just think you can get a first or a second round pick out of it.
Yes. I think you have to.
I agree. And
you brought Calvin Ridley in to be a guy.
Yeah.
And he's definitely have done that.
Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, who are likely going to pick at the back half of the first round, if they come to you and say, here's our first round pick, we want Julio Jones. Like,
all day long.
Yeah.
He was the slowest receiver on that team.
Could you imagine? I don't even want to, it makes me want to vomit. I don't even want to.
You're not covering them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're Steelers, bye-bye.
Yeah.
You guys looking really good right now. Like your defense is so fast. But, man, if you put on that speed, and Julio Jones?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But, yeah. So
I think, if you get an offer a first, even a low to a mid-second, I think you have to, a high to a mid-second rounder for him, you got to take it. And then, like, Matt Ryan saying, if teams are out there putting a pick out there in the first, like, on the draft day, I think you gotta shop it.
Well,
at this point, shop your picks. Get as many draft picks as you can. If you're bringing a whole new GM in, new coaching staff, at this point, it's worth the rebuild. Mm-hmm. And the only two guys you got worth anything are Ryan and Julio.
Yeah, I mean, that you're paying, right? Like,
yeah.
The other guy, like Calvin Ridley's worth.
Cost you nothing.
Yeah. So, we'll see. I think that the Falcons are in for a long rebuild, and it's not going to happen next year or the year after that. So, unless, and we're not ready to put them into the sweepstakes yet, but unless they get into the TL16 sweepstakes.
They get that little blonde hair beauty going down to ATL.
Yeah.
He is a Georgia boy. Like, he's from Georgia.
It almost lines up too nice, but finish up.
Anyways, man, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Shane, always fun. Sometimes we ramble on.
Hey, that's okay.
We like football. It's that simple.
That's what we do.
Make sure to follow us on iTunes and Spotify, YouTube, obviously, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Once again, cheers. I kind of missed that part, but hey, thanks, guys.